My goal in life is to answer some of the hardest hitting questions that young Americans have. Like, is discharge a real thing? And if so, how do I stop it? And how do the Amish date outside of their circle if they're all somehow related to each other? So in today's video, I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you need help deciding. I don't give any solid answers, but I give great opinions. Do I get a lobotomy? For the longest time, I thought lobotomy had to do something with the ass, not the frontal lobe. I think I saw bot and assumed. Is that like the same thing that MatPat said, that's how that one kid in the Bite of 87 lost his memory, and then he went on like this whole video that was completely false? Listen, if you can do it safely, I'd say go for it, because not many people can say they've had a lobotomy. How do I do cartwheels? I feel as if this is something you have to learn prior to the age of 7, and then past that, forget it, don't even try. It's not like swimming. You can learn swimming at any age, but there's a certain muscle development that needs to happen before 5th grade. And if you don't have it, don't even try. How to start a race war? Like a new one? Surprisingly, I think that'd probably be a bit hard, just because there's so many, and it's like, what new stuff could you come up with? Don't answer that. Gay son or thought daughter? Non-binary Mormon. I've always liked the idea of having like a child who is like extremely religious and kind of shames me for not being extremely religious, but I also get to learn about what their beliefs are. Because if they disown me, my immediate thought is going to be, it's because of religion and not because I was a bad parent. How do you put a tampon in? I don't know. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like tampons. They scare me. There's a lot, like, why does it have, like, why is it rough? Is there some sort of, like, lube I can put on that thing to just slide it up there? Also, like, I don't know, the instructions aren't very clear. Do you get those TikToks where you're scrolling peacefully and all of a sudden just, like, a huge actual frontal display of like all the three, like someone has like a gel construction kind of piece and it's just like the entire lower half of a woman, and like there's an it happens so quick too, like they don't give you a warning, the person's just shoving the tampon in there. That's fine. We need to, be educated as to how to put tampons in, but I think the sudden insertion freaks me out a little bit. How to talk to a white person? I try to just I don't make direct eye contact. I go for in between the eyes. And then slowly when I start becoming comfortable, I start looking at either one pupil or the other, but both at the same time. There's way too much pressure, so I don't do that. How do I escape France? Sometimes you can't escape France. Even if you leave, people will know that you're from France forever. There's not really a way to leave your France life behind. It's kind of like if I suddenly went to Shanghai, they would know that something's up. Should I keep all of my old LPS? Let me stress something to you. Okay, this shouldn't even be a question. Just take out the should, and that's a statement. You need to keep all of your Littlest Pet Shops. All of them. Especially, let me stress this, especially if you bought LPS from the moment they came out between that time and 2012. That is the pivotal moment of Littlest Pet Shop designs. After that, it just got bad. Everything started burning to the ground. Do you know how much Littlest Pet Shops sell on eBay? Do you know how hard it is to obtain a simple blonde, short cat? It's like mission impossible. My mother threw out my Littlest Pet Shops many years ago without asking me, and I still resent her to this day. Do you know how, listen, I didn't play with dolls. I had the Littlest Pet Shops. One of those Walmart trays, white Walmart trays, filled with all my Littlest Pet Shops. Gone. I have nothing to show for my childhood. My dad still has his Western action figurine toys from when he was 6 in the basement in his old home in North Dakota. And the fact that I have maybe 3 Littlest Pet Shops to show for my entertainment from ages 6 to 12, it's embarrassing. It looks like I had no life besides dance, and it's true. How do I get into the furry community? So here's the thing, you don't actually need a fursuit. What you need is passion. That's gonna carry you all the way through. You don't need a whole setup. You don't need the whole fit. It's kind of like when you join a fandom, just because someone has more merchandise than you, it doesn't mean that they're a bigger fan, because not everyone is in the same financial position, but also that person can have so much merchandise, but you know the birthday of every single character in the show, and they don't know that. You know what I mean? And from what I've seen, the furry community is pretty nice. People just assume that because people are interested in animals that have locomotion with just 2 legs instead of 4, that there's some sort of like sexual desire underneath those layers. That's not always the case. When I was on Animal Jam, when I was, middle school, I would consistently be like a wolf so I could join those like warrior cat clans. You could, maybe I was a little something. There was a time in my life where I followed a lot of like fursuit accounts because I thought the whole process of being a furry was really interesting. And then I branched out, but there's no rules. Should I get diagnosed for OCD? That's like me trying to get diagnosed for ADHD, but I keep forgetting to find a doctor. That's also me trying to like schedule a dermatology appointment for my eczema. I would say yeah, if it's a concern to the point where you've had to ask me. How to get the most out of community college. Community college is like a side quest. It's not your end destination, but someone offered you a cheaper, slightly longer way to get to a 4-year, and because you ran out of starter gems, you take that left path. Joining clubs can be a bit scary too, because you want to like interact with people that have the same interests as you, but the age difference can mean the interests that they have are at different levels. I think the fact that you've said that you go to the community college in itself is how you get the most out of it. I think the best way to get anything out of college is to be the mascot for the school. Playing the mascot of a college or a university, it's like being Spider-Man. I personally knew one of the people who played the Sun Devil at ASU. They lived with like 4 roommates, and nope, none of them knew. I was the only one. I was like Ned from Spider-Man Homecoming. I have jury duty tomorrow. I'm so nervous. See, that's the scariest thing about adulthood. It's not scheduling your own doctor's appointments, or getting a job, or going into college. It's the impromptu jury duty calls. It's like the stepping stones into the Hunger Games. You just get randomly selected, you're in a group full of random people, and no excuse is gonna get you out of it. Work? They don't care. You're pregnant? They don't care. You have dementia? They don't care. You're people on the court. I'm scared of driving. How can I get over it? So what helped me start driving wasn't like, okay, I just need to get over it. I'm an adult. I just gotta start getting behind the wheel. What it was, if you didn't know, I had my permit for 3 years. And within those 3 years, I didn't practice because I thought, well, I have a whole year until I have to renew it. I have a lot of time. But what really made me get behind the wheel and get myself together was like March of 2020 when an episode came out of Steven Universe Future and Steven was driving. I was like, okay, all right, I gotta get it together. If Steven is driving and I'm not, we got some issues. Should I rent a room at a 44-year-old man's house? I'm 20. The only 44-year-old person that you should be living with, or anyone around that age, is a family member. Not even the uncle. Forget the uncle. Just your dad. I've been single for 24 years. What is your best advice on finding a girlfriend? I don't know. A lot of these questions of getting our relationship advice things, I don't know. I am new. I'm a new team member. Like, I just got here. I don't know. I think it just depends on the person. Dating apps work for people. Dating apps sometimes don't work for people. It just kind of depends on the personality and timing, I guess. I don't know. My dick is a little too long. Do I sling him over my shoulder or leave him at home? I think he'd be more comfortable at home because, when you're walking, they get like a bruise and they probably get a little cold, so it'd tuck them in or something. What do I do if I know I want to go to college, but I don't know what I want to major in? Help. Go to community college. Get your gen eds. Then have the crisis. Just knock out all of those stupid things that are required, and then when you finally know what you want to study, you can just focus on that. That's the beauty of community college. Pee before poop or poop before pee. It's a classic political debate. So if you have the ability to control which one comes first when you're in a moment where both need to happen, sometimes you just gotta shit first. Number 2 always happens for me first. I don't think I could pee with something in my ass waiting to come out, you know? I feel more urgency with that situation than the piss hole, you know? What do I do when the person next to me on an airplane wants to talk? I have social anxiety. I find this a common issue when you are talking with people who are traveling from Montana or South Dakota or Kentucky or some place where a lot of retired people live. And they haven't talked to anybody in a long time because they live in like independent living, which is like senior citizen homes, but instead of like a nurse helping you, they just have like these tiny box homes, you see. It's like Biztown, but like enlarged. And they haven't talked to anybody in a long time because none of their family members, none of their grandchildren visit them because they're working. And so sometimes you just have to let it happen. You have to feel a little bit of sympathy and let them tell you about how many kids they have and the cold weather. You just have to kind of power through it. What LPS is your absolute favorite? I actually have her with me here. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she gorgeous? Oh my goodness. How do I get my dog to like me more? I don't know, but when you find out, you gotta let me know, because my dog doesn't like me. I love my Chi. My Chi-Chi, I love her so much, but she just doesn't really like me. She likes me, she tolerates me, but she doesn't want to hang out and like cuddle. I'd like to assume it's because she's just so comfortable with me that she doesn't need validation from me, or at least that's what I like to believe in my head. How do I deal with a brother addicted to Survivor roleplay? Drop him in the middle of a foreign country and just let him thrash out. Or take him to a Renaissance fair. Just let him loose, like take him off of his leash and give him at least 5 hours. And to end it off, how do I talk to quiet women like the ones who stay in the library? So my advice on approaching any woman in any public situation is don't. If you or a loved one ever need any advice or need just a therapy session in general, you tell them to email me, and I'll get back to them in about 5 to 10 business days. Thank you. Goodbye.